So, and then he immediately starts chewing. There was a minor issue with my Netflix party, but yeah, who cares? I
So yeah, what
sort of forgot to record my own voice, so we had to scrap it, but it's still Rob's turn, and he rolled a movie.
Yes, last time we watched Camp Cool Kids, which I thought I might never forgive Alec for, but turns out, despite the quality of the movie, we had a lot of fun.
It was kind of a shit movie.
we should probably explain the rules. Since
I should explain that had I watched that movie alone, I would have been miserable. With two other people, it was tolerable.
we should probably explain the rules real quick to people who are just
Yes,
starting.
we randomly we use a random generator to find a movie on Netflix that none of us have seen, and then we watch that movie.
And
Alan rolled Camp Cool Kids last time.
And at the end of every watching, and after the discussion, we roll to see the next movie we're going to watch. We might roll several times to figure out if we haven't seen it yet or not. And then once we pick, we have to switch turns with someone else. So after Rob's done, Mega Fighter gets to roll for his show. And
I'm
then-
actually gonna let you have a roll just because, or I'll have you have the next turn, if only just because you kind of got gypped on the actual recording.
yeah, but we still had to watch it.
Yeah, but hey, that means you can potentially find more fun to torture us with.
I don't know about that.
This is the movie I rolled was from 1995 called Kicking and Screaming, which is how I had to be dragged into the last movie.
I'm looking at the starring list, and I don't remember it. I don't recognize any of these names, except maybe Carabono. She's in a different thing.
I'm looking real quick.
Josh Hamilton.
Samuel Gould, is he related to
Eric
Elliot
Stoltz,
Gould?
why do I know that name?
You're right. This isn't exactly a star-studded cast.
There's Eric Stoltz from that movie Mask.
Wait, Christopher Reed?
Christopher Reed. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
That Christopher Reed?
He doesn't even
No.
have a picture.
No, it's not that.
No, he's just some other guy named Christopher Reed. Because
That's confusing as hell.
in Frasier, he played a luggage clerk. And also, there's a movie called The Size of Watermelon.
Well, so we don't recognize any of the cast, so that doesn't help us.
The movie is
the name
apparently
Parker
a
Posey, but-
1995 romantic
Oh,
comedy.
Parker Posey, yeah. So, this movie is about college kids after graduating. And is a comedy drama.
I feel like I'm a little bit afraid to watch it because I might just be really bored. But we don't know that yet.
Yeah.
The pre-show is for our expectations, and the post-show is how we feel about it afterward.
Right.
And as soon as
I think I might have slightly high hopes for this because I think, and this is a special shout out to a show we all enjoy, I think this show was brought up on Welcome to the Basement. I believe they did it in Seen It. And no, we didn't get this idea from them. No.
no,
That's
we didn't.
not how this happened.
We didn't.
Well, what are you talking about?
What are you
Totally
talking
moved
about? We
along.
didn't.
It's
Went into the back
merely
alley and jacked off Matt Sloan, but that's not. Also, if you want the riffing commentary, we could always use Google Hangouts, but I don't know. This might be easier to upload.
Yeah, I think this would be better, and I don't think I'm not sure we're going to be doing a lot of riffing for a comedy, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, Camp Cool Kids was a comedy, so
Yeah, was that supposed to be a comedy?
There's about 3 brackets of quote marks on that on comedy there. Quote mark, quote mark, quote mark, comedy. End quote, end quote, end quote.
Because I didn't laugh at anything in the movie besides us talking over the movie.
I laughed at the screaming because of the thing that, because no one acted like a human being.
yeah.
Right. My favorite joke from there, or at least one, I guess my favorite joke that I told was, Eugenia is an eldritch monstrosity brought back from the dark times. We've been combating for thousands of years.
Whatever you say, Grandpa. Oh, sorry, wrong kid. Whatever you say, Grandpa.
Oh man.
My favorite quote during the actual riffing of that movie was Megafighter saying, "If this movie doesn't end with that kid riding the Loch Ness monster, I'm going to be disappointed."
He was
disappointed.
I was so disappointed.
Well, I guess we're being dragged kicking and screaming into the metaphorical couch to watch kicking and screaming.
There ain't no party like a Netflix party.
Because a Netflix party ends recording now. Hey! We are done with our screening of the movie Kicking and Screaming, which had very little kicking and very little screaming. Maybe in a metaphorical sense it did, but
I did not pick up on.
there was none that I was aware of.
That movie was far more depressing and far deeper than I thought it was going to be.
So it's like we said previously, it's a movie about college. Specifically, it's a movie
after college.
It's a movie about leaving college and then realizing you don't know what the fuck you're going to do with your life.
Here's the thing: all the main 4 characters that we're following, all of them basically decide for a year, we don't know what the fuck we're doing after college. We're gonna try and stay near college or in college somehow.
And it doesn't work in all these ways, and there's like a falling out between them.
There's only one character who successfully gets a job at the college when all is said and done. And we'll get to him in a minute. I wrote down something for each of the characters after the movie was over, but first let's go over the movie.
I'll admit, I didn't know that some of the scenes were flashbacks.
Neither did I. I didn't catch on to the end of the movie.
I thought
so stupid.
I thought the main character, Grover, was meeting someone else who was also named Jane, but that was the first Jane. That was the first Jane he was with, the one who just ditched him in Prague.
Okay, so here's what her hairstyle was different in the beginning of the movie, and I guess that's what threw us off.
Well, also, it might be just graduation hair. Because she had like a bob, and then she went to like a sort of a curly thing.
Grover is basically our main character, although there's 3 other characters that we follow as well. But Grover is an accomplished novelist somewhat. And he, at the beginning of the movie, we see him at the graduation party with his girlfriend Jane, and he gets really pissed off that she decided to go to Prague instead of staying in New York with him, where he was going to stay. Actually, I think this movie might take place in New York. I'm not sure.
We're not sure.
It starts out in New York, and then they move west to sort of find a new place.
Yeah, they mentioned Milwaukee.
Really? Because the way I got
the way I
at the college that they were that they went to, because they know the bar and they know basically everything about the college.
I thought they were in Milwaukee and hated it and wanted to go to New York but couldn't.
Maybe.
Something like that.
I'm only saying that because Otis was supposed to take a plane to Milwaukee, but he didn't until the end of the movie. Otis was supposed to go on a plane, and they left him at the airport. And then later on, in the scene where they're all like sort of
He got on the plane anyway.
together, he didn't get on the plane. He for a year he didn't get on the plane.
Yeah.
That's also a trend in this movie, not getting on the plane.
Don't get on the plane.
Get off my plane.
Get off my plane.
So Grover decides that he's not going to go to Prague with her because he is very pissed off that she decided this without him, and they have a almost relationship-ending fight. And the rest of this movie, we see her messages on his answering machine, and we also see flashbacks to how they met, which is apparently she ridiculed his book, one of his books that he wrote. Then she, when she was working at a coffee shop, he met her there. She told a stupid story, and they liked each other. And it was actually an organic romance. I just thought we were seeing it as a different girl.
We thought we were seeing a completely different thing develop.
So here's the overall tragedy of this movie. Grover comes to realize over the course of the year that his whole year staying back is bullshit. His friends are in shambles.
Yeah, there's a lot of adultery and shit like that.
We'll get to that in a second. He realizes that this is all bullshit. He slept with a freshman and did not have a wonderful experience there. And when he finally gets up the nerve to go to Prague, he doesn't have his passport.
Doesn't have a passport. You can't go.
So this is all. And the last shot of the movie is another flashback of them kindling their romance for the first time. So we don't know if he ever gets on that plane.
I mean, the speech he had while he was telling the lady at the front desk why he wanted to go to Prague sort of implied that he wants to change his life to the point that he'll do anything to do it. So I imagine he'd come back when he had his passport.
Yeah, well, passports cost money, and plane tickets also cost money, and I don't know where he's getting it, but so Grover, I have here when I wrote one is Grover is a miserable idiot, and I empathize with him way too much.
Also, this whole movie is just a sarcasm train.
Yeah, that is the thing, and I think that's what I honestly was dreading, because I don't like the movie Reality Bites, like Ethan Hawke, and I want to say it was Winona Ryder in that movie.
I don't know.
But because it is just the most drenched in that Gen X sort of just sarcastic people being assholes to each other. But it wasn't like that.
Here's the thing, they that sort of disintegrates over the movie. It's we're so intellectual, and we're not, and no, we're full of bullshit.
No, they just think they're intellectual, and then when actual issues come up, they're all fucking inept.
They just kind of realize how fucking in over their heads they are.
So,
and I like that.
So here's what I have written down. I have a sentence written down about each character. I wrote down Grover is a miserable idiot, and I empathize with him way too much. Max is that creep that was going out with one of the girls I had a crush on in high school, only he's smart and not white trash. Otis is me moving in with his parents after college and struggling to progress, although he actually has a way out. And I just wrote for Skippy for Skippy.
Skippy gets shit on all movie by everyone.
Like, even Max says, that's why we like Skippy, because we can kick him around. And it's just like, it's such an...
He's like a
harsh assessment.
stupid puppy.
Well, Skippy, here's the... Okay, so Skippy... All right, Max is... Max... How do you describe Max's arc in the movie? Other than he starts dating a high schooler.
Yeah, that's where it gets weird.
Yeah.
He's miserable until he starts dating a high schooler.
Who casually threatens people with... who can bow hunt.
Yes, that was my favorite. That was...
Motherfucker!
She's like... Someone parks in her spot, so she's like, motherfucker, get on my spot, bitch. And Max is just looking at the guy. And it's like the good old boy redneck with, I'd rather be bow hunting on his
And
car.
he's just sitting in the car going like, I don't think we want to enrage him. He'd rather be bow hunting right now.
It looked like the setup to, like, the first kill in a slasher movie. Like, I was fully expecting
I
her to run
imagine
her down.
I thought she was going to get run the fuck over.
But he just drove off. He was like, fuck it, whatever.
I don't give a fuck.
Max is sitting in the car just going, please don't get my ass kicked. Please don't get my ass kicked.
Basically.
There are so many things that happen in this movie that I can empathize with. Well, the overall despair after getting out of college.
It's weird there isn't a lot of plot. It's sort of like a Seinfeld kind of situation where it's mostly just relationships changing status more than actual events happening.
It's kind of like I said, the movie at times feels more like you've just kind of been dropped in the middle of these people's
And
lives.
they skip forward like every semester of the college year, and they're just doing shit.
Well, it's more like half the semester they skip forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it goes like midterms and then. But
you're seeing like just these lives happen and nothing like there's no big like plot revelation. It's just a change.
Yeah, they don't plan to do a bank job or anything.
I think it works because over time we realize how we get immersed in these are real people. This feels real because Grover is a sad sack.
Who's a writer who has this problem of it seems like he can't get anything done.
He can't write because he's clinically depressed because his girlfriend's in Prague and he's not doing anything to go fix that.
And his dad doesn't give a shit.
His dad's getting divorced.
And starts talking about wearing condoms. And it's just like, shut up, Dad.
His dad, by the way, is played by accomplished actor Elliot Gould.
Huh.
Yeah.
Max sleeps with Skippy's girlfriend, who is a girl named Miami.
Florida.
Played by Parker Posey.
Played by Florida.
Yeah. Who is okay. Before she slept before she cheated on Skippy with Max, I thought she was already cheating on Skippy with the German dude.
Yeah. But then when the subject of her cheating on him comes up, she just starts ranting at him about his constant playing of 5-second rule. That's literally 5-second rule. You just have to name a bunch of shit in 5 seconds.
Then he goes on to bone Mike Wheeler's mom. No, wait, they don't actually have sex in that movie.
Yeah.
But that is, I actually looked it up. Kate is played by Cara Buono, who plays Karen Wheeler in Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's where I remember her. Yeah, Karen Bono.
How about that?
So,
I do
This
think
movie-
that the writing's actually pretty decent for a guy's first screenplay.
Yeah.
yeah.
And he
This-
went on to write other shit, apparently, so...
Also, another thing to note is this movie feels oddly timeless. Like, the only thing that really dates this movie is the Video Planet scene.
And the fact they're playing, like, Tetris on a black and white, like, Apple II or whatever.
And, like, a Game Boy.
Yeah.
Actually, it probably wasn't even at this point, but no, it's just... Otherwise, this feels like something that, you know, still happens. These are the kind of issues that people
Except
deal
with even more debt.
Yeah, that's the only difference. Is that doesn't seem as big of an issue as
I
it
can't
is-
even fly to Prague. I gotta pay off 10 years of student debt.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, good luck affording a passport.
And I want to work at Blockbuster, but it's closed. Because Redbox
I
is a
think
thing now.
I think we're really the right generation to watch this movie because we all saw this movie, and progressively as the movie went on, we were all spotting things, and like the character would say something, and we'd go, "Oh shit, that's my life."
That whole thing about writers not like about how Grover is a writer not doing any writing. That's just like.
Are you just trying to use that to throw shade at me?
No, that's just the thing. Though a lot of people who will call themselves writers, they'll know that they do very little actual writing. They'll find excuses not.
They'll
to write.
say they'll write and then get out of writing because they feel like
Yeah.
something's wrong and they can't write because of it.
Right.
That's
And
the
that
nice
everything
thing.
has to be perfect for them to be in the mood to write, but that perfect's never going to happen.
Welcome to my fucking life. It's like
You're
I try to
saying
find
that when
something
I'm,
to.
when I'm
That's
supposed
why-
to be writing
that's-
something that's due tomorrow.
And that's why I decided, fuck it, I'll write anyway. Because what else am I supposed to do? Yeah, I don't regret watching that movie. Unlike
that was
unlike
good.
the other one,
I like Camp Cool Kids.
Camp Cool Kids.
Well,
One day
thing
we'll
with
talk
kicking-
about
the
Camp
thing
Cool
with-
Kids.
the thing with kicking and screaming is, I felt like I might just have to watch that movie again alone just to soak in everything everyone says. But the whole thing about there were just so many lines in there, like how everyone's just so going through the hardship of getting out of college and just going, well, fucking now what? Like the very beginning scene with Otis and Max sitting at the table and just going, worst thing that could happen after you get out of college. And Otis says Milwaukee, 'cause that's where he's supposed to be going. Then Grover leans in and turns into his usual
My girlfriend's going.
depressing stuff. So my girlfriend's going to Prague. And
So
I think not one mentioned death.
it is. It is
Oh,
kind of. No.
I was just gonna say my favorite line in that scene. I remember now. It's like Skippy goes, "So, this is the night. This is the night they graduate." And he's like, "Do I have to start paying back my loans tomorrow? Like all of them?" Just like that line. I'm just like, shit.
And it's very interesting that I would have never gave a shit about what this movie was if we didn't roll it. And I had a few interesting rolls while we were watching, but I kind of felt like it tainted. So the roll that I'm going to do at the end of this is the only one that counts.
Yeah.
Unless we all veto it.
Or we've seen it.
Or we've seen
One
it.
of us seen it.
So let me get my roulette program up. And spin, spin, spin. For a weird delay. This is a documentary. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's about the Boston bombings.
Ooh,
Fuck.
yeah, I can't make jokes about that.
No, I'm not.
respan.
Yeah. I think let's make a clear call.
Have
that,
either of you watched Paddington Bear?
No.
Oh, the movie that came out like 2016,
2014, apparently.
2014? No, I haven't.
Fuck, that feels like a way more recent movie.
Yeah, okay,
Oh, well,
sure.
Okay, I guess Paddington.
That doesn't sound that bad.
It has a
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes rating of 99%.
Ooh.
Okay then.
Yeah, apparently it's a...
Next time on Netflix Roulette, we enjoy ourselves.
There's no party like a Netflix party.
Alternatively,
Netflix party.
option B,
Oh no.
P.
What?
Just a movie called P. It's a Thailand movie about being gay. I don't know.
Okay,
Fuck
I'm
it.
taking Paddington.
Paddington. Okay.
Paddington.
Paddington.
All right, next time Paddington.
Next time, Paddington. Someone write that down somewhere.